I gotta start this video with a horrible confession to you guys. I have too many computers. I know, it's a problem that we all deal with at some point in our life, but if I just look around out here in my filming area / garage, I've got this ridiculous RTX 3090 Ti two-way SLI configuration that I set up and I've been dealing with. I have a ridiculously high-end and sexy build in the Hyte Y60 case right here that has been given away. Actually, the giveaway ended, but I still need to pick the winner for that. I'm gonna do that today. Multiple other computers scattered around in various states of being built or unbuilt. So today, since it is spring, let's do a little bit of spring cleaning, tear down some of these systems, maybe toss in a few anecdotes or reminiscences about the build process and how nostalgic I am about them. If all goes to plan, then by the end of this video, I should have the space I need to kick off my How to Build a PC series, which I've been talking about for a couple weeks now, so it's time to get that underway. But before that, it's time to get this video underway. Let's go. I'm walking away.
Excellent!
And here is our first victim. This is the about $1,000 PC, the February build of the month, which I built, and then I tested, and I tried a few different graphics cards, and basically I don't need it anymore, so we're gonna take it apart and put the parts back in their boxes, and we'll figure out if any of this stuff can be used for the How to Build series. There's definitely, I think this power supply I'm probably gonna use again. I'm also gonna be wanting to show like an Intel CPU installation and an Intel stock cooler, so we'll need that for the 12400 at the same time. And this has the 6600 in it, which is currently my GPU of choice for something that's not ridiculously overpriced above MSRP. Those are available for around $370 or $380 last I checked, as of about a week ago. All that said, let's tear down system number one. You guys probably didn't even know, but the stuff I showed you at the beginning of the video in the garage, that's not even all the computers that I have to take apart today. So let's grab one of these. So this is the Z5i, or Z5i if you like saying Z instead of Z. And this case looks kind of cool. Kind of a fun design, but practically speaking, really not the best airflow for the graphics card. So this one didn't really take off, even though it was a pretty cool looking case from G.Skill. They need to go back to the drawing board and figure out a way to get better airflow. That said, since I did the build in this system, it's just been sitting there, and I have a very good reason to disassemble it apart from the fact that it's just the theme for today. And that is right over here. Ooh, look, that is a pretty much all white, mostly white, Gigabyte RTX 3070 Ti. And if you recall, I built an all-white system for my wife in the past couple months, but the graphics card I used in there was borrowed from Kyle. It was a very nice all-white Asus RTX 3090, but I will need to return that to Kyle, so I'm going to pop this GPU in there instead, which should match very nicely with the aesthetic of the rest of that build. It does use one fewer PCIe power cable, but we'll come to that when we come to that. For now, let's take this thing apart. Next, we have this system right here to take apart. This is Hotbox, and this is my wife's old computer. It went through a few different variations. Originally, it had a pretty nice water-cooled system set up in there. I eventually, due to lack of me doing regular maintenance on the water cooling loop, tore that down. Oh, hi, Joe, in the reflection. But I pulled that out of there and swapped in just an all-in-one liquid cooler, and I think that's actually a 2080 Ti reference card in there. But since I built her that all-white system just recently, she is no longer in need of this. We've already copied all the data and stuff off of it that we need to, so I did keep the retail box for the case, which is the Fractal Define Nano S, and I think there might be more retail boxes in there for some of the other parts in here. So here comes one more PC disassembly in this epic video full of PC disassemblies. Jumping ahead a few days now, we got a lot done on day one, but of course there's never enough time to do anything. But to bring you guys up to speed, on Friday I actually drew a winner for the Hyte Y60 PC build. The winner's name was Ralph from Oklahoma, and unfortunately after waiting not 24 but actually 48 hours plus, Ralph did not get back to me, so I had to revoke his win and re-pick. The second winner, who I drew on Sunday, is named Evan, and they're from Hawaii, so they replied pretty quickly, claimed the PC, but then like a half an hour after that, Ralph got back to me and was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed this. So I followed up with Ralph just to ask him a couple questions. And I'm still gonna see if I can help him out in some way, even though I can't give him the full PC build. But that brings me back to today, which is Monday, and I yet again have a laundry list of things to try to do. So the Hyte Y60 build, I'm gonna try to do the final setup on that and get it packed up and ready to ship out. I would still like to pull my wife's system out of her room so I can swap the graphics card there and get the fans turned back the way they should be. But before I get to any of that, today is something of a special occasion, so to celebrate, I am cooking up some of my famous ribs. So I gotta get those in the oven because they gotta cook for like 3+ hours. Let's get the oven warming up. I'll quickly run down what I'm gonna be doing here. Ribs, I do love ribs. These are pork ribs. This is a 3-pack from Costco, and based on weight, it was $48, but don't worry, it's totally gonna be worth the money. And if you guys find this at all interesting, let me know if you want me to like post the recipe for you guys, or even just do a dedicated video on like, here's my ribs that I make. If you get these big packs at Costco, it comes with 3 racks in there, which is nice. You can fit 2 racks per tray like this, and you can use disposable trays like I am, or you can use non-disposable ones. We're taking these to a different location, so the disposable made more sense. Then we're gonna use tin foil to kind of seal on the top, because we will be braising the ribs, which means cooking them for a long time, low and slow, with a little bit of braising liquid down just underneath the ribs. Then we're gonna finish them on the grill over at my parents' house, but if you don't have a grill, you can also broil them at the end, and that works out as well. I have a couple different rib recipes. This is my orange honey teriyaki recipe, so we start off with a fairly simple rub, which just has ginger, lemon, pepper, salt, and pepper, and then we do some orange zest over the top to give it that orange zesty flavor, and then we make a sauce that we reduce over time, which has teriyaki sauce. Can also put a bit of ginger powder in that, depending on how much you like ginger, or you can even do like real minced ginger. The orange juice is for the braising liquid. I use half orange juice and half water, and then the oranges, after you zest them for the rub on the first part, we use the juice of 2 of those to go in the sauce along with all this stuff. And I am already past the time that I wanted to get these in the oven, so let's get started. I must admit I'm cutting a few corners like the rub you can apply to both sides of the ribs, but I'm low on time today. So this is the part where your hands are just gonna get a bit messy, but it does help to pat the rub and especially the orange zest into the ribs. The orange zest adds so much flavor, I cannot overstate that. I actually used 1 orange for each rack just to try to get a pretty good amount on there, but we're just gonna pat that in. All right, almost ready to go in the oven. Also, it helps to pat the ribs dry with some paper towels before you apply the rub. It's not a huge deal, but almost ready to put them in the oven. Sauce time. Bottle of teriyaki sauce. Some honey. Fancy honey, you know. Yeah, that's about right. Ginger is optional. And of course, our oranges. Do note that not all teriyaki sauce has sesame seeds in it, so yours might not, but I'm just gonna stir that around, bring it up to like a little simmer, and then we're gonna let it simmer and reduce for anywhere from like a half an hour to an hour until it gets more saucy. Basically, we're looking for additional sauciness with this sauce. Okay, the ribs are cooking, so Hero Boy, you let me know when they're all done and ready to go, okay? Okay, so for now, I think I'm gonna work out here where things are a little bit less chaotic, and I'm going to set this up. I've got the retail boxes and everything there, as well as the retail box for the case. So yeah, I've got to pack a bunch of stuff in, and I need to ship this with the graphics card and everything still installed. Because this is a GPU with an all-in-one cooler attached, like removing the whole thing to ship it like I usually do with the giveaway systems isn't really going to fly. But I do have another option. Let's check that out. Okay, Windows 11 is doing a fresh install on the Hyte Y60 build over here. Again, pretty fresh, even though it doesn't have any RGB software running. For that, I've got this here, which is the case box, and it came double boxed, which I'm very happy about. That's great for shipping. And then I got this box over here for the rest of the retail boxes. That's usually where I put the GPU. Not going to be the case for this shipment, but I still have some stuff in here, like extra fans, power cables in there. The rest of the PSU cables, some more retail boxes over here. This is the retail box for the motherboard, and do note, the Z690 gaming Wi-Fi ROG Strix comes with this card right here, the Hyper M.2 card, which unfortunately is not compatible with this build because it's an expansion card and it's full height. We need half height expansion cards if we want to do that in this case. But that, along with all the other accessories for the motherboard and whatnot, will be shipped in here. So here we go. There. A lot of people said, I should just fly to Hawaii and deliver all this stuff in person, and the thought did cross my mind. Don't get me wrong. My schedule's a little crazy right now. I do not think I could fit a quick trip in. Running some Windows updates over here, and I have now grabbed my wife's computer so I can swap out that RTX 3090 because Kyle won't let me keep it. All right, so to update on the Hyte PC, Windows is now activated with my old Windows 8 Pro key. Yet again, a gift that keeps on giving. Other than that, I haven't done too much except basic Windows updates, chipset driver, the graphics driver, and then I did back up some of my lighting profiles from the previous installation. But that should be good for now, and I'm ready to do the final pack up on this system. Meanwhile, the ribs are cooking and smelling delicious. The sauce is reducing down, although the lid popped down at it all the way, so it didn't reduce quite as much as I wanted it to. I had it like this. That's what I wanted. But for my wife's PC, I think the new card matches quite well. Of course, I know the text is upside down. That's one of the things that we gotta kind of live with this flipped build, but that's fine. Let me turn it on. Ooh. Still looking pretty good, I'd say. Yeah, I think this works. I think this is gonna work just fine. We got video outs and everything, so cool. So now we are on the final steps of packing this system up, and we wanna fill the inside with foam as much as possible. So I have finally gone and purchased probably way too many of these. You might have seen these, like Jay did a video with them recently. Any like boutique system integrator, especially the ones that do water-cooled systems, use something like this to pack the systems because basically it creates foam inside a packaged thing and it will fill in the gaps as needed to keep things held where they should be during shipping, so that if the box gets tossed around, things don't bounce in their brackets that might crack PCBs or otherwise make it so the system doesn't work when it arrives all the way across the Pacific in Hawaii. Got side A and side B. We want to squish side A and then we push both sides to squish them together, and then it's going to start expanding. There's a second pop, by the way, after that happens. Then everything starts expanding quickly. So at that point, we need to get it in here quick. So let's see what happens. Getting warm. Oh, there's the other one. So warm. So warm. Whew. All right. Cool, so that filled in this big area in the front and wrapped around the side just a little bit. I now have another big area back here, so I'll tuck some in there and then bring it across the front. For this one, I need to get the side panel on as quickly as possible after I get the thing in there. So for Evan, the winner of this system, note that there's a foam piece in there. This is just underneath the CPU and it holds up the little M.2 thing. I forgot to pop it back on. I'm just gonna kind of wedge it in there real quick. Oh wow. Okay, well there it is. And there it is, a very densely packed PC. Nothing's moving around in there. And I like that it fills up enough to take up all the space, but it never really felt like it was putting too much pressure on these tempered glass pieces, so that's good. I wouldn't have wanted any of those to break. And so it was that with at least a fair amount of the high-level tasks on my to-do list complete, especially the packing and getting ready to ship out of the Hyte Y60 build, and of course those final configurations for my wife's system setup, that the ribs were just about done. And I'm happy to say that after saucing them up with the saucy sauce, we were able to finish them on the grill at my parents' place, and they turned out just delicious. They were beautiful and wonderful, and everyone said they were the best ribs they ever had. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna put the recipe for that down in the video's description if you guys wanna check it out. Before I go, I wanna say a big congratulations to Evan, who won the Hyte Y60 build, and for Ralph, who almost won but didn't get back to me quite in time. He followed up and sent me his system specs, and he's currently gaming on a GTX 1080, which is a solid gaming GPU, but I think I can do an upgrade for him, so I'm gonna source an RTX 3070 or an RTX 3070 Ti if I can swing it, and send it over to Ralph as well. But guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. It is an in-between one. There is a very important video coming up later this week, so don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, because I'm very very excited about that one, and I can't tell you too much more right now. While you're at it, if you want to hit the like button on this video, that helps me out a ton. And you can also check out my store at paulshardware.net, where you can buy shirts, mugs, pint glasses, not Gamers Nexus shirts, but I do have Paul's Hardware shirts on my store. That's all for this one, guys. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video.